What's up guys, my name is Brandon, welcome to Quick Flicks. Today, we are covering the theatrical version of Escape Room Tournament of Champions, directed by Adam Robitel, releasing in 2021. If you guys didn't already know, I covered the extended version last week, which has a completely different beginning and ending than the theatrical version. With the alternate beginning and ending, the overall story of the film actually somewhat changes. However, if you already watched the extended cut, the majority of the film is exactly the same. I just wanted to ensure that you guys got both cuts of the film. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and stop yapping. Let's hop into the movie. The movie opens up with a nice little recap of the first film, which is being told by Zoe to her therapist. However, her therapist doesn't really believe her about these escape rooms, or that Minos even exists. She expresses how she feels Zoe is getting her life mixed up with this game world, and needs to overcome her fears of flying on a plane in hopes that this will make her feel free. Unfortunately though, Zoe has already tried this a few times, but can never seem to make it on. As their time runs out for the session, her therapist suggests one last time that they try getting on the plane, but Zoe informs her that Ben and herself will be driving there instead. Zoe then meets up with Ben in the halls, who is casually waiting for her, and they hit the road. After some hours of cruising, they stop for the night and grab a hotel. They both get up to go to the restroom at the same time, creating some cute tension. I like these two. Ben gives Zoe the go-ahead and lays back down, only to hear some weird noises outside, grabbing his attention. The room suddenly starts shaking and Zoe yells that the door is locked. The ceiling slowly starts coming down, freaking Ben out. Not knowing what the frick to do, the ceiling eventually reaches him, crushing him to death, and the movie ends. Nah, could you imagine? He wakes up from the nightmare, with Zoe quickly coming to the rescue. They decide that's enough sleep for the night and head on out. They eventually reach their coordinates of the supposed Minos facility, but it doesn't look like much is going on here. After searching around for a bit, a homeless guy warns them of the dangers of this place, but still offers help getting inside in exchange for a bit of cash. Their car alarm going off grabs their attention long enough for the homeless guy to grab their keys and jet out of there. We get a neat little chase sequence that leads all the way to the subway and onto a train. The homeless guy outsmarts them, getting off the train cart just in time. Realizing he's out of reach, they catch their breath and have a sit down. While Zoe investigates some weird train noises, Ben notices an advertisement with a misspelling. They both go to the conductor booth to see that there's no train conductor. Their train cart then suddenly breaks away from the rest of the train and goes down an alternate path into an abandoned station. Everybody starts freaking out after the realization of the situation and try everything they can to help, but with no cell phone service and faulty emergency brakes, they're in a bit of a pickle. The train comes to a crashing stop. Everyone gathers themselves and tries figuring out what the heck is going on. Theo, a boxer who just wants to get home for his wife's birthday, presses a button for assistance, only to get a pre-recorded message for train passengers. Ben quickly realizes Minos is responsible for this, but Zoe isn't the only one who knows what that means. Everybody shares their experiences going through the escape rooms, and how each of them were the sole survivors. I guess you could say.
So that makes this what? Tournament of Champions?
He said it! He said it!
We meet everyone in the crew, a priest, Nathan, an influencer, Brianna, an EMT, Rachel, and of course, Theo, the boxer, as previously mentioned. With a whole bunch of Teslas popping out from the roof of the train cart and shooting electricity everywhere, I'd say it's about time to start looking for some clues, huh? Brianna presses the assistance button to hear the message once again. Nathan picks apart the sentence, specifically about a suspicious package, and finds a random bag under a seat. Inside contains a towel and a metal handle. Splitting up to see what they can use it on, Brianna finds a way out, one step closer. Theo suggests that they use the handle in the conductor booth, as the pre-recorded message stated to report anything suspicious to the nearest MDA employee. He gets a little boo-boo trying, but quickly realizes that he has a leather belt, which is an insulator, thus opening the door. Inside is an old subway token slot machine, and a sign that says, "All false advertising must be pulled." Ben remembers the misspelling on the advertisement from earlier, and the group quickly finds more errors on various ads. Zoe then realizes there's 26 handles, similar to the 26 letters in the alphabet. They decide to attempt pulling the corresponding handles to each letter that's missing from the ads, which actually seems to work, giving the group a token for every correct handle pulled, and slowly decoding a message on an electric sign. After obtaining about half of the 9 tokens needed, the train cart starts having a full electric meltdown, and things get cray, only needing 3 more. Theo finds the last missing letters, but unfortunately gets electrocuted before he can tell everyone, and dies. Aww, sad. Zoe, looking at the message, decodes it to be "Welcome back," and tells everyone, getting the last tokens needed, opening the escape route. Everyone crawls on in, getting the flip out of there, and falling into an elevator. In the elevator, they take time to find out a bit more about each other. Nathan, being a priest, was in an escape room with 5 other priests, and the idea was to see if faith would help them survive. Pretty messed up. Brianna, being a social media influencer, was in a themed escape room of exploding mirrors. With the elevator starting to shake, they realize it's time to move on, and into the next room, which is a bank, with the vault wide open. No way it's that easy though. Of course, burning lasers shoot around everywhere. When Brianna steps on a certain tile, they realize they need to find the correct pattern through the tiles to get to the bank vault. Rushing to find clues due to a 10-minute timer before the room goes up in lasers, they find a key inside of a lollipop. This key is used to open 2 safety deposit boxes labeled Sonia, one containing blank bills and the other with razor-sharp diamonds. Zoe, accidentally cutting herself on one, uses her blood on the blank bills to reveal a 4-digit PIN code that Nathan enters into the ATM machine. The ATM machine prints a receipt, which is another clue, leading them to the clocks. The clock's time somewhat reveals the pattern to get to the other side. Nathan grabs a stack of lollipops, leaving a trail behind him for the others to follow. He eventually steps on the wrong tile, the lasers going off and causing him to lose balance and knock himself out. The ladies get him off the tile, deactivating the lasers momentarily. With only 1 minute left, Zoe finds a chart with the remaining pattern, the group following and getting out. Zoe then makes a run for it as the lasers start going off, barely making it in time. That room is honestly a lot of fun, and it definitely makes the viewer pretty anxious while watching it. They head into the next room, which is probably the most memorable one in the film. A nice looking beach that turns into a photo once Brianna takes a photo with the camera that she found laying in the sand. That was a little redundant. Fun fact, they actually used 11 tons of sand to create this escape room. The back of the photo gives them a clue, leading to them finding a metal detector and some shovels. They use the metal detector until they find a reactive spot and start digging. They eventually reach an anchor, but the sand turns into very quick sinking sand, sucking in Rachel. But Nathan plays hero and ties a rope around himself, diving in and grabbing Rachel, the crew pulling her out to safety. Nathan doesn't get so lucky though, as the rope snaps and sinks to his death. The entire beach seems to be all sorts of Hecate, so the group heads to a beach hut, using the anchor as a key to get access to the inside. They find a fridge that needs to be plugged in, believing it could be an exit, and a switch on a miniature lighthouse. They flip it, switching the time of day to night and activating the lighthouse outside. Zoe heads to the top of the lighthouse to find a clue that leads Ben to a mannequin with seashells covering her eyes. Although she's sinking, he manages to remove one of the shells and finds the cable head needed for the fridge. He heads back to the hut, giving it to the ladies. They plug it in, opening the fridge, leading to an exit. However, Zoe found a tool in the telescope that allowed her to pry off the moon's frame. She believes this will allow them to escape the entire game. With the entire beach sinking, the group goes back and forth about which way they should go. Ultimately, Rachel and Ben head for the lighthouse, and Brianna gets stuck in the hut. She's forced to go through the fridge, while Rachel and Ben climb the lighthouse. Unfortunately for Ben though, the handles start closing in, crushing his fingers and falling into the quicksand. Zoe is in a bit of shock, but is forced to move on anyway. They make it to the tunnel, but Zoe, being traumatized, has a sit down and doesn't really feel like moving on. Rachel comforts her and informs her how she can't feel any pain. We finally find out her prior escape rooms were themed around torturing her. She believes they need to move on in order to stop Minos from torturing more people. This is enough motivation to get Zoe moving again. They find a ladder that leads to the streets of New York, and they finally did it, everyone.
I don't understand. We're still in the game.
Since Brianna has been there for a little bit, she informs them that it rains acid when the timer goes to 0. Looking for clues, Brianna climbs a fire escape and finds a key. They use this key to open a rolling shutter in front of a pawn shop. The front doors seem to be locked though, as the timer runs out, but luckily for them, an awning pops out to protect them. They hear the phone booth ringing, but can't get inside due to another lock. However, a news broadcast playing on a TV in the pawn shop gives them another clue to collect rainwater. Rachel finds a ketchup bottle made of polymethylpentene, aka making it acid proof, and sets it out in the street to collect the rainwater, while the ladies hide under another awning. Once the rain stops, they use the bottle to melt the lock on the phone booth. They get inside, but hear nothing on the phone. However, Zoe notices an ad, leading her to the taxi. With the timer running back down to 0 again, Rachel throws her an umbrella, while the other two hide in the phone booth. During the shower, Zoe notices an ad at the pawn shop that mentions 3 rings. She tells them to answer the phone on the 3rd ring, ring, and when they do it, it opens the taxi door. Zoe immediately runs in, but when the others try, the door shuts and locks, along with the phone booth. Unfortunately for them, they die in the rain. Zoe, on the other hand, falls into a chute in the back seat. She gets on up to realize that she's in a child's bedroom, with toy letters spelling out Sonia. She then opens a box containing some of the props from the escape rooms, along with a diary titled Sonia's Diary. She starts reading the diary to find out every escape room is themed after this daughter's experiences with her mom. However, in this timeline, Sonia isn't the mom from the extended cut. Sonia is in fact Amanda's daughter. A wardrobe door opens and Amanda falls out. Zoe rushes over to hug her, in shock that she's still alive. We find out that when she fell from that telephone cord, she landed safely on a large mat. Amanda tells her that all of these escape rooms were created by her, as Minos kidnapped her daughter Sonia and demanded that she design these, or they kill her. Amanda then informs Zoe it's her turn. Zoe refuses to help Minos create escape rooms, but Amanda shows her Ben is actually still alive, and if Zoe doesn't go through with creating these escape rooms, he'll die. A toy train then delivers her a nice pretty card with her name on it, but she tears that ish up, refusing to help. Ben's cage immediately starts filling with water. Zoe strikes the glass with a shovel, but to no avail. Zoe then quickly resorts to pulling on the gas pipes connected to the fireplace, Amanda helping. They break it off and set it down next to the glass window. She then pulls out Ben's lighter and throws it at the gas, creating a large fire and breaking the glass, Ben floating on out. With the room engulfed in flames and filling with water, they find some loose planks on a wall. They pull them off, revealing a space behind it. They crawl in, and Amanda pushes open a panel bearing the Minos logo, and they crawl out into an industrial complex. They see the Sonia mannequin in a cage with some other props, along with the big door slowly closing. As they race to beat it, Zoe turns around to see all the different escape rooms, with their labels. They slide under the door just in time, hurrying up a concrete stairwell and into a graffiti-riddled alleyway. They sprint for safety, finally escaping. The next day, we see Minos get busted, and their employees getting arrested. Zoe and Ben see this at the police station, feeling relieved it's finally over. Zoe then agrees to get over her fear now that Minos is out of the picture and fly on a plane. On the flight back home, Zoe can't help but feel that they escaped Minos too easily. Ben tells her to calm down, and she tries to, but she can't help herself when she hears a familiar ringtone, leading her to a woman that closely resembles her therapist. The woman has the same belongings as her therapist and is even dressed the same. She then connects the dots. Her therapist was in on it, hence why she told her so many times to get on a plane. And even the entire police station was a hoax, to make her feel as if Minos was indeed busted and done for good. It was all part of the plan. Oxygen masks suddenly fall, and gas spews into the cabin. Zoe looks around in distress, and the movie ends with a distorted voice, thanking them for flying with Minos Air. Let me know what you guys thought of the theatrical version of Escape Room Tournament of Champions. Which version did you like more? Let me know down below. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.